Hello, everybody. We are live. Welcome back. Thank you for the hosts. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the subs that we've had so far prior to the stream. This is our first stream after Huetopia is now an affiliate, which means you can support us in multiple ways. You can support us by following us. You can support us by subscribing. If you're an Amazon Prime user, you can use your one free subscription towards us if you'd like. You can also donate through bits and cheers. And we also have a tip jar that is located on our Twitch screen. Other than that, welcome. We are in episode 2 of Kahaaniyaan, Sarzameen campaign with our wonderful players. Let us quickly go around the virtual table and introduce ourselves and who we're playing tonight before we get into our recap. Who wants to go first?
I'll go if no one else wants to take it. Hey, I'm Basheer Gauss. You can find me at Basheer Gauss on Twitter or at havocvet.itch.io. I play Rahim, a lizard a giant lizard, a private investigator, technically, and in practice, an enormous nuisance to everyone.
Who's next?
Okay. Hi, I'm Morgan. Oh shoot, what am I asking? I play Tulsi, who is the naturalist, basically just someone who really likes mangoes and from the jungle, and just big city life is very weird. Yeah. Did I do that right?
Yeah, you did good. Who's next?
I can go next. I am Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. I play Jansali, who is the doctor. Very high-strung, very stressed out right now, but she's saying, screw it, we're gonna see where this adventure takes us. You can find me on Twitter at @byConnieChong. You can also find my project at Transplanar RPG, which is an all-trans, POC-led tabletop live stream. And I'm very excited to be playing in this one, and I'm so pumped for this episode.
Awesome. And last but not least...
Hi everyone, my name's Anino. I use
out.
he, him pronouns, and... I'm sorry, what worked out?
Oh, I did this, and it actually points to you.
Okay. Hi again. My name's Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and for this campaign, I play a character named Nibir, who also uses he, him pronouns. Nibir has left his former life and is now, I wouldn't say on the run, but he's not trying to be found.
Lost but not found. Actually, not even lost. I don't know, I just wanted to put those words together. I'm sorry.
He's on a jog.
Yes, he's on a very long, months-long jog.
Yeah. It's like that scene in Forrest Gump where he just starts running across the country.
I was just thinking that. I was like, we got shrimp, we got fried shrimp, we got boiled shrimp, we got...
And whoever was hoping that, hey, could you get some coriander on your way back? They've been waiting for a couple of months now. Sorry, that's a really poor joke. All right. The way I like to do... this is the first time I'm actually doing a long campaign. And the way I usually like to do recaps and long campaigns is have the players do it with their recollections of what happened last time. Obviously, if there's anything super important that everybody should be knowing going in, I will fill in the blanks, but I just love hearing the players retell the tale. So who would like to recap what happened in our first episode?
I took notes.
Yay!
Am I the only one who's going to be taking notes this game? Okay.
Yes.
You're the designated party scribe.
Oh.
I refuse to take notes. I just forget things.
Connie's got a notepad too.
Yeah, I can't show it to y'all because I disappear. But I have a notebook that I'm writing notes in and doodling in.
All right. So we started off first with our preludes. You want to say some introductional like scenes? Rahim is going to Taktabad to chase a lead. Jansali was attempting to heal someone and they died. She leaves the village to go to Taktabad on a healing center to work. Nibir, aka Gojin, because that's what we know him as. Wait, do we know he was Gojin or do we know he's something else?
He actually never introduced himself with a name.
So, the one that we will eventually know as Nibir, aka Gojin, aka whatever.
Totally not Uncle Iroh or anything.
Leaves his town at the break of dawn. Just shaved his head. Left a note for his now ex-fiance. His mom stops him before he leaves. Brings him a bundle of food for him leaving. And he had an invitation from another mentor to bring them to Taktabad. Was it food? Maybe, I don't know. And Tulsi, my character, ran off to get a flower to help her grandmother's, their grandmother's illness.
Mr. T.
Mr. T, indeed. T guy. And then Tulsi got caught in a monsoon, made friends with a monkey that they gave a mango. In return, the monkey gave Tulsi the flower that they needed, but they got back home a little too late, and their grandmother already passed. And then present day. Do you want to take it, Connie?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Present day, we find our heroes, ? In Taktabad, doing their thing. Jansali is in the community clinic, dealing with a very obstinate big lizard person who is probably not actually sick. But is trying to look out a window to see something that Jansali doesn't notice, but his view is being blocked by someone else carrying a big stack of, I think we decided it was plates, right? The big delivery of plates, dishware. And then after this unnamed person, who is Nibir, came in, Jansali, Oh, Tulsi also came in. Yeah, that was the whole thing. Tulsi also came in looking for answers about whatever strange disease or sickness or illness it was that took their grandmother. And that's how the four of us meet for the first time under exasperated conditions. And I think it was who was it who suggested that?
I don't know what you're talking about. Rahim had a great time.
well, thanks, Rahim, for the subscription. We actually, I believe with that, or rather an anonymous gifter gifted a tier, so hey, you have a sub now. With that, we actually unlocked our third emote. So, that's in the works. Continue.
That's so exciting. I am going to pass on the torch of the summary then to Basheer, speaking of Rahim.
All right. So, eventually, while we kind of had a build-up of Tulsi trying to get their journal looked at to get get information on this disease she's investigating, Jansali trying to diagnose what's up with Tulsi to see if they'd got it, Nibir trying to drop off his package, and Rahim being Rahim at people, someone came through announcing an auction. Someone's belongings were being auctioned off, generally due to a death or debt or something along those lines. And there was going to be a big public auction, and it was going to be a huge event, and there would be lots of cool things up for sale. Rahim is here for specifically to get something he thinks is at this auction, and so he promptly headed out. Jansali headed out because she was having a pretty terrible day due to her co-workers and also due to Rahim. And Nibir and Tulsi kind of got pulled in, and we headed to the auction house, where we got our numbers, we're kind of waiting for stuff to happen.
Wait, real quick. just want to clarify one thing. Nibir didn't get pulled in. He got left in the clinic.
Oh, yes!
In.
And he unlocked it on his way out.
And shut the door.
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, I believe that's roughly where we ended last session.
Oh no, there's more. We get to the Nilami, the auction. Rahim becomes Salim, and Salim put on a disguise to do some light fraud. Is where I left my notes.
Yes, that also happened.
That's all. That's all my notes. Mariam muted.
Right, that would that would do it. So, you covered most of it. I don't think there's anything that I want to add to it, and yeah, I totally was prepared last time. I had everything written down. I was like super prepped. I know everything that was happened, and I totally didn't do it yesterday. So with the players have been given in advance through also the dossier ability what brief descriptions of what all 20 tables are there. We will not be doing all of them during the stream, and we're going to maybe sort of retroactively go back in the last 10-15 minutes of what happened last. Yes, Rahim's auction number was 69. And
very important information.
Yes, very, very important information. And you had a little bit of time to examine things. So we're actually going to go over that player by player on maybe one... I'm sorry, those are my cats. Hey, we can use the new stream command, even if it's only, you can only hear them rather than see them, because I'm obviously at a beach.
Yes.
They are not happy that there's a green screen in front of them blocking them from their viewers. Okay, so without distractions, let whoever wants to do their examining off a table first may step up and tell me which table number you would like to inspect.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So one thing that we didn't mention from the previous episode was that we did take a look at one table, table 11, which had a small box with a clear shallow bowl, and it was rumored to help tell drinks given by, identify the giver of drinks as a friend or foe. Nibir has been wandering around the Nilami, and what caught his eye was a sword, table 19.
Okay, so let's quickly go over 11. I believe from our sort of off-camera askings, I think you were the only one who inspected it. Okay, so I will say that for table 11, aside from what the description is and what the rumors are, I'm gonna say you recall like in the figments of your like memories, especially in Takhtabad, that there are certain nobles and people of means who have rather influential enemies. And one method of removing opponents and dissent is through poison and other means. And you think this item that's there is magically enchanted to do something with maybe discerning whether something is a poison or not by pouring it in the dish. So you think it's something like that with the whole rumored friends for foe. You think maybe it's something similar to that thing you recall. Now, for table 19, I will describe. It is a sword. It looks like to be a long sword of some kind that is in a scabbard and chained rather securely as if to prevent it from moving. It doesn't seem to move, but the way it's been sort of like bolted down, it looks like it's to prevent any sort of movement of any kind. The scabbard is pinned down and chained.
Nibir looks around cautiously at everyone in the Nilami, and when he senses that no one is watching, he's going to poke the scabbard with one finger just to see if he feels anything weird or off.
Yeah, so when you poke, you feel a sort of vibrating coming from within, like as if it's like, let me out, let me out, let me out, let me out, sort of a feeling. That's what you get. And we're gonna move on now. Who would like to examine some of the other tables?
Well, Rahim has a vested interest in table number 1, which he will be examining in his newest noble disguise as our good friend Salim, who clearly actually exists and is very wealthy. Thank you very much.
Incredibly. Your blood bleeds blue. Alright, so table 1. It is a collection of 10 small stone figurines that are carved to certain likenesses. 9 of them have like small differences, but as a whole, they have the same sort of armor, the same sort of weaponry. It looks like it's almost like a set of 9, and it's there's a box that they're all in it, including the 10th figure, which I will describe in a moment, which has a particular saying carved onto it, the box. The box says, "Find company in case of catastrophe." The lone 10th figure that looks nothing like the others wears clothing very, very similar to Tulsi, in sort of that, naturalist, lives in harmony with nature sort of a way, and looks like some sort of a healer of some kind, like, very kind of like herbalist, and is holding a rose.
Okay, so I think I'm just going to start kind of harumphing and making my way over to the table, looking over this thing, and start kind of prodding at it. And what I'm doing is looking for secret compartments or something where my quarry might be hidden. But what it looks like I'm doing is basically just being a nosy rich person trying to inspect all of these things to see if they're really the quality I'm expecting, and is this really worth my time to bid on? Try and kind of bludgeon my way past anyone questioning, why are you touching the product?
Yeah, so you notice that they're all very well carved for being stone figures, almost lifelike. And the only way that it could possibly be done that way is either with very, like, some of the best artisans or magic.
That is interesting to know. Is there any clear, like, activation thing besides the fact that the prince or the Hakim is kind of separated from the rest of them in form and function as like the rose?
Without
Or
sort
the
of spending
flower?
time and essentially owning the thing right now, just by inspecting it over, just looking at it, you can't really tell. You might be able to activate it, but it's one of those things you kind of need your own time.
Yeah.
Be in your room.
I'm just going to interrogate an auctioneer about this, just kind of, so this seems to be magical. Can you tell me more about this, young person? Kind of see if I can bludgeon someone into, or socially annoy someone into giving me more information on what's up with this.
Okay, I will then ask you to roll a d20 to
All
see
right.
how well that goes.
18.
18.
That was
Okay,
pretty well.
it is a 6. It goes off without a hitch. So as you approach the auctioneer, the one who's basically got a sheaf of papers with the table descriptions and everything and starting bids, etc., you actually startle the auctioneer, and they drop all their pages and they're trying to pick it up, and now there's a big look of confusion on their face as they realize, oh no, they're not in order.
I'll just kind of hand some to him, or hand some to them. Did you, I missed if you mentioned, like, gender or pronouns.
We will go with him.
Okay, I'll, like, kneel down, hand some of the papers. I apologize, young man. You seem to have been, rather clumsy there. Let me help you out. I had some questions about one of the items I was hoping you could assist me with. I, as you can see, a quite well-to-do fellow, and I have things that others are eager to liberate me from. I was hoping to get something to assist me with that at this auction. I was wondering if there might be some... These figures seemed rather well-made, and there seems to be some sort of magical or alternative function to them. I was wondering if you might assist me on the specifics of that. Is there some sort of perhaps...
They just cut you off mid-sentence and point to an older gentleman who looks very wealthy and kind of stroking their beard and just watching the entire sort of scene out before them.
Well, I'll go ask him about it.
Yeah, so this is a portly gentleman who wears... who reeks of new money, wears the most fashionable clothes, but not necessarily coordinated. Like, it's like someone went through Pinterest and tried everything and put it on themselves.
I sidle up, give him a compliment. Well, hello there. I can see you're clearly a influential fellow in this entire auction. I had a few questions about one of the items, if you don't mind exchanging some words.
Of course.
Peer to peer.
There are wonderful items here that will make me a good little sum of coin.
Indeed. Which is very impressive in a barter-based economy. It has to be quite something to get you coin in a economy without them. It's very good stuff. But,
are you breaking the fourth wall?
What? Me? Never.
Continue.
Yeah, I had some questions, I suppose, about item 1. It clearly seems to be of master craftsmanship or magical make, and I was wondering, we know that information, it's supposed to be a blind auction, but you know how these things are. Of course, no auction's truly blind, and I was wondering if you could tell me a little more about the item before I began my bid.
Yes, of course. They are done by this master craftsperson, of course. This person, he was a collector, collected fine things, of course, and I totally had time to appraise it in the 12 hours that it took for me to attain this piece of property. And I'm totally not selling it without doing that appraisal, because that would be foolish.
Well, thank you for the information. All right.
Yeah, so essentially, assume I actually said proper words, but you get the sense that appraisals were not done, so that
Fair
might
enough.
maybe something you may, if you choose to bid on this item, you may need to do some appraisals of your own. And let's now move to either Tulsi or Jansali, if there were any items that caught your eye.
Yeah, there were. So Jansali is absolutely just gonna make a beeline for the weird old seeds on table 2. I think, during the pre-session, Tulsi's interest is also going toward the seeds. Could there perhaps be a moment where they both head over at the same time? Is that what's going on? Or
Yeah. If that's okay with the both of you, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think Tulsi isn't as fast as a walker because they're taking everything in. They're just sort of just like looking around, but they see seeds, and that's something that they know. That's something that they recognize as like, oh look, those are things they work with. Those I can start here and not be overwhelmed.
And it's the second table in order, so.
Totally. Yeah. Jansali is just briskly walking, like, move, I'm gay, very, like, power lesbian, just clipping her way over. And she's attracted to the seeds because it's organic material, and she needs organic material, or so she thinks, in order to create her potions. So she goes over to this table with this old leather pouch that's filled with seeds, and she just, you're not supposed to touch, right?
No, at least
Okay.
if with eyes on you, you're not supposed to touch.
Okay, she is going to obey the law for now, and she's gonna just like scrutinize it, like get really close, like oh, I'm not touching, I'm not, but my eyeballs are on it. She's gonna like scrutinize it as hard as she can.
Just roll me a d20.
Great.
It's not a roll. Just roll me a d20.
Sounds good. She's like smelling it, She's like rapping on the table next to it to see if it produces interesting noises. That's a 16.
Okay, cool. Tulsi, you're also examining it.
Yeah, I think I just got there as soon as Jansali stuck her face like right in its neck. And I don't know if Tulsi got the rundown because I don't think she's aware, and she doesn't have very much decorum. This is her first Nilami. She doesn't know anything. She's like, oh, these are so cool. And she sticks her hands into the pouch, or starts to.
Okay, so before something happens, I'm gonna give you a bigger description since you're actually close. So this leather hide pouch looks incredibly old, so old that it's nearly fossilized. It is filled with some largish seeds, maybe somewhere between 12 to 16, perhaps. You're not quite sure without, although Tulsi, you put your hands in. It feels about the same amount. And once your hand's in the bag, you hear excuse me, what do you think you are doing? And it's the young, flustered man with the sheets of paper just staring at you, giving you the dirtiest look of like you kicked their puppy or something.
I look at Jansali like, what'd you do? What's going on? What?
Your hand, Tulsi. We're not supposed to touch.
Oh, we're not?
Haven't you ever been to one of these before?
No.
Oh, right. I think you did mention that. This is your first time. I'm so sorry, sir. They're not from around here. They've never been to an auction such as this before at your very fine establishment. It will not happen again.
I like your seeds.
Do you realize that you could, by the simple act of touching it, depreciate its value?
I look at the seeds. I look at him. I look at the seeds. I look at him again. I look at Jansali.
Jansali gets a little protective and says, well, if we depreciate its value, all the more power to the bidders, right? Look, all they did was just touch the fondle a few seeds, okay? We've all been there. Just, can you let this one slide? They're just a kid, okay?
And with the rather inappropriate sentence,
Fondle some seeds.
their face turns like red, and then they just, humph, just don't do it again, and they walk off.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And you notice they walk over to a couple of maybe workers that are there, whispers, and sort of looks in your directions and whispers again and walks off. And you notice that the two workers that were, you know, like how volunteers at a festival who are just standing around waiting to be told to do stuff, they now just stare at the two of you
And wave.
from afar.
Jansali does not like being stared at and gossiped about. She has a very specific dislike of this, so she bristles a little, and she sort of shoots them an icy glare. And
then they quickly look like there's something more important. And then maybe after a couple of minutes, they're going to start staring at the two of you again. Maybe not so obviously, but...
I think as soon as the guy turned around and like walked away, I think Tulsi just out of spite just pokes one, and then when they start looking in that direction, they pull their hand quickly away.
And the workers, their eyes just widen, but they look younger, like teenagers, and are unsure how to be assertive. So they just kind of give you like a... And then when you do that brisk, like, icy glare thing, they're like, oh, what lovely architecture.
Yeah, Jansali has a really good, like, resting B-word face. I'm not sure about the swearing on here.
It's fine. It's fine. You can...
She has a supreme resting bitch face. So she is going to sniff those seeds. Are we getting anything other than old, pouch, slightly big seeds?
The seeds smell old. Like they've been dormant for a very, 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 very long time.
Interesting.
You know, like how in Emperor's New Groove, there was like, you look like my great, 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 great. So add that many varies to it.
Interesting. Okay. Based on how they smell, is there any, like, kind of plant that is similar to the smell of these seeds? Like, could they be an ancestor of, like, I don't know, like, what's a plant of time, you know, or something like that?
Just from the side of, I'm gonna say that if you have an ability that allows you to figure out without having to research or to sort of spend some extra time related to like botany or something, or some information, it's not something that you can easily figure out right this minute. However, the one information I can give you is that because these are large seeds, they're definitely for large trees of some kind.
Ooh. Okay.
Also, Tulsi, if you feel like you could, from any of your abilities, figure out what kind of tree or something there is, you can certainly use that, but...
I am looking right now, and because I'm a naturalist, I might have something, but I don't know if it's going to work exactly how it would work. I might just accidentally sprout something by accident, so if I do it. Because I have Command Nature, which is an ecologist path one.
Okay, what does it do? Why don't you read that out?
You whisper a rhyming couplet to the living plants around you. Oh, it's living plants, so maybe not.
Yes.
Well, maybe the seeds are alive.
I will say for the purposes of this, you don't know if they're alive, dead, or dormant.
Yeah. Well, let me just finish
Zombie
reading
seeds.
And you can write your own or borrow one from another author. Use one that plants might appreciate, like hear my voice ring and welcome to the spring. Your brief poem entreats the plants to produce a harmless effect by moving or growing slightly. The things you want to manipulate must be within range. You may make trees rustle, cause leaves to fall, get plants to bloom, vines to expand, or seeds to sprout.
Okay, so if you want, you may try to use it to see what happens.
Oh my god.
But you know,
I think when Jansali gave them like another glare and like she went sniffing, I was like, hold on, let's see, hold on. And she's gonna Tulsi's gonna like put their hands on each side of the table and just sort of like lean in and just get like, not touching them face to seed, but like maybe like a half an inch. And they're like,
I'm not touching you.
I'm not touching him. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey.
Does it cost adventure points to use?
It only costs an adventure point if I can explain how you can effectively deal 2 HP to damage to a nearby target. So
okay, so you're not using it to cause damage. You're just using the. Okay.
Yeah.
So nothing sprouts, but they all wiggle a little bit. like answering, sort of like, hey.
5 more minutes, Mom.
Yeah.
What did you... what? Tulsi?
They're good. And and then they just lean up and just like sort of like proud smile on their face, like they're still good seeds.
And the wiggle that's there, the feeling you get as you do that wakey eggs and bakey, you feel this feeling of like almost like a warm embrace, a familial feeling of someone who loves you and you love them.
Oh, they love me already. I love you, seeds.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a very familial sort of feeling with them, so.
Okay. Jansali's gonna look at this, like, nature connection that's like happening, and she's gonna, like, address Tulsi and say, you know what? I won't throw my hat in the ring for that one. You clearly care a lot about these seeds. I was gonna scope out a different table anyway.
Oh. Okay. Alright, yeah, I guess I can put my name. How do I put my name in? Do I have to like write my name on a piece of paper and like stick it in like a box?
Is it like that?
No. You were all, aside from given a number that was kind of just thwacked on your chest, you were also given a paddle with the number on it. And the few attendants that are there, you can kind of hear from just hearing around that, yeah, basically they will do a public viewing of the object and then essentially do bids. And
Got it.
Yeah, that's how it's done.
Got it. So it's not like a silent auction. Where
No,
you, like,
it's not a
put your name
silent
down.
auction.
Okay, cool. Jansali explains that, indicates the number on Tulsi's person. And yeah.
And I just use the paddle as a fan because it's hot.
Yeah, it is hot. Jansali's gonna be like, I'm gonna go check out that other table. Are you gonna be okay on your own?
Yeah, I should be fine. I think there's another. I'm just gonna look around. I don't know what else to do. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to look at. Remember, don't touch. Okay, I won't be there to help you out next time. And they might kick you out.
Oh, I don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that. It's embarrassing.
Just look.
And Johnson's gonna turn around with a little huff and stalk over to table 16.
All right. Table 16 is a... one second. I have my notes. Table 16 looks like sort of what remains of a alchemist's set with a bottle of potions. With a case of potions. The alchemist set, basically whoever removed it to put it on this table didn't know what they were doing. It's not usable in any way whatsoever. The case with the potions, however, those are intact, and it looks like each potion is full. The little inscription that is there to essentially describe what's on the table is the name of the person whose house is being foreclosed, which is Jadu-e-Jamah. a known magic connoisseur and collector. Um, this was taken from their lab. However, note that this person was not a mage. So the potions are essentially, like jungle juice slash mystery potions. You have heard of such potions being made by student alchemists, and essentially how they work is bottoms up and hope you get something useful out of it.
Oh boy. Okay. So each potion, is it like a different color? Like a different
Yeah,
mixture?
and they seem to sort of change in color slightly, like it's almost like luminescent and also kind of like chromatic and moving around, and in different as the light sort of shines on it, it changes colors.
Cool. Okay. Jansali is immediately enamored, and she sort of like mutters under her breath as she's like leaning over and like inspecting this ruined alchemist set. She goes, "Ugh, you poor thing. What did they do to you?" And she looks at the potions and she just sort of nods. This is the one she's gonna bid on.
Okay. Before we head to the auction, real quick, is there any other table that catches anyone else's attention?
I think Tulsi, because they're wandering now at this point, because they're like, all right, cool, I'm going to go for 11. But they're like, let me just look at something else. I think the one that they pass by and they're like, oh, this, and they sort of do a couple steps back, is table 7.
Yeah, so it is a fine silver pot with a lid on it. The lid seems to be clamped shut for the time being. And all over the pot and around, there's essentially these murals, like almost like an anime slash comic style of a person making a samosa, and if you followed it, you'd probably make a pretty decent samosa.
Oh, I do love samosas.
I need one of those in real life. I'm so bad at wrapping samosas.
And it's like in perfect detail, and you marvel at the craftsmanship of how this mural all around on this big pot, I'd say like a Dutch oven size pot.
Oh,
Yeah, big, like, um, and there in the mural sort of goes all around and sort of meets at an eye, like a big eye, knowing
eyeball?
eye. Yeah,
oh.
like it's not like an eye sticking out or anything. It's just like a
A carving?
etching off it in the silver.
Oh man, I want a Samoa. Also, this plot is protected, I think. And they were told not to look, but does it have a lid, or is it...
There is a lid. The lid seems to be currently clamped shut.
Oh, and it has clothes, that's nice.
Those clamps do not look like they belong with the pot. Like, it doesn't come with the
Oh.
clamps. It looks like it's been purposefully clamped.
They're gonna look around real quick, and they're like, should I touch it? Should I... They're like resisting the urge to touch. But they're
Okay.
not going to.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
So, Nibir walks up to the silver pot, and with a couple of discreet glances, looks around,
Oh, hi.
and then lifts the lid or tries to unclamp the.
Give me a dice roll to see if you're able to do it without being detected.
12.
12. Okay, it goes off without a hitch. So you are very... Describe to me how you unlid this, actually.
So So Nibir does a little bit of misdirection. He just starts snapping his fingers up over by his head, as if he's deep in thought, but he sort of waves his hand over the top of the pot in order to brush the clamps off with a very quick motion, so that while everyone's distracted by his fingers over his head.
Yeah, so when you lift the lid, do you lift it off completely, or do you just lift enough to take a peek?
Just enough to take a peek.
It's empty, nothing's in it, and the insides are silver as well.
Oh.
It
Just for
lo-
kicks.
This pot, even though it looks like it might be some sort of a cooking pot or something, is not made of material that it looks more decorative than something you could cook with. And that's the thing that strikes you as odd.
Yeah. So Nibir is going to see if he can slip some of his mom's snacks into the pot before clamping it.
Okay.
Mom spaghetti just in the pot.
All right. So, you put your
Can I
mom's snacks in it, and before you can clamp it, the pot starts vibrating quite furiously,
I hide underneath the table.
and you hear the sound of whatever's inside being devoured. You see suddenly you're attracting attention, and the young sort of attendants that are milling around are running towards you like, what did you do? And before they reach you, suddenly you hear a gigantic burp emanating from inside the pot, and your mom's snacks all violently like get thrust out, and they're perfectly intact. They're just incredibly slimy, like coated in slime of some kind. And you notice that all the etchings on the pot have now changed to, instead of making samosas, how to exactly and perfectly recreate your mom's snacks.
Oh snap! That's so cool. But also, what the hell? But also,
That is pretty rad.
I'm very much hiding under the table. As soon as we start making noises, like, nope.
Oh my god, y'all should bid on that. That seems like such a cool item.
And the man with the papers is running up to you furious. What did you just do? What is this?
The pot spoke to me.
Okay. And makes a note on their paper, and you see a couple of extra, like, if money was a thing, a couple of extra zeros got added to it, sort of a thing. And walks off. And says, "No touching, sir." And glares at you, and then walks off.
Nibir just walks away, just mutters under his breath, "That was worth it."
I think as soon as the attendant like walks away, I think Tulsi pokes their head out and they're like, "Is it clear?" Oh, you already walked away too. Okay. They just climb out of the table.
So now your mom's snacks are now incredibly slimy and wet.
Did you keep them?
No, he did clean up after himself, however, and with a tinge of regret, threw out the now slimy snacks.
Thank you for the raid, make believe.
Hello.
Whoever's in chat, if you could give a shout out for them. All right. And thanks for the cheers and bits. Oh my god, thank you.
I think as Tulsi sees the snacks being thrown out, they just go put them in a bag. Slimy and all. They'll clean it up later.
Okay. All right. So with all of this time dilly-dallying, it is now actually time for the auction. So first up, the young man with all the sheafs of papers, like, thank you for coming to this Nilami this afternoon. Okay, so first item, this lovely ring, and turns, looks at the set of figurines, looks back at his notes, looks at the figurines again, excuse me a moment, and starts leafing through things and says, yes, a collection of dancing, no, that's not right. Oh, yes, a collection of, a half a chess set, maybe, we don't know. Well, these figures are finely crafted. Look at them. And then the attendant, who is like this rather youthful and beautiful man, is just sort of doing a Vanna White thing of, like, you know, the like those in the TV shopping network sort of a style of showing it off, like, sort of a thing. Look, so yes, this is a hero of importance with their army. Yes, that is exactly what it is. And bidding starts at so and so, assuming there's a bidding done. Is anyone bidding for this item?
No, I'm going to be going for table 6, so I will skip on this one. Anyone else?
All right. And then we come after it is bid and sold. Table number 2 approaches and says, this beautiful carpet. Okay, no, that's not it. And starts leafing through and says, yes. This seed bag has seeds from your 16 of them. Good for history buffs. Who would like to bid from this?
I think as soon as table 2 is said, because Tulsi still doesn't know, they're just sticking their hand. I'm just waving at.
Yes, and you're the only one who actually sticks their hand up because nobody's interested in buying seeds. Yeah, it is like after a very awkward pause and like 20 seconds of awkward pause, sold.
Yes. I want it.
All the auctions, once they're auctioned off, you basically go back to those tables, you give their payment, and you get to take it home. And then a ring later gets brought on, as well as a couple of other jewelry pieces, like an old brooch that has the likeness of the persons whose house and contents are being auctioned off, and
when the brooch comes out, are we able to see what the sorcerer looked like?
Yeah. Well, not on the stage, like, not unless you are like really up close. The time to have seen it was during the time, yeah, like you could. look. You could probably find out what they look like when you go back to the table or whatever, if
Sure.
before the person picks it up,
Got it.
as well as a heart-shaped locket that has a uncanny visage in it, gets auctioned off at some point. Then a collection of clay figures in various classical dancing poses arrives. And the auctioneer is like, yes, this was the one that was from earlier. These are of fine quality workmanship and shows a group of Kathak dancers in perfect motion as if they were carved from their likeness by an artist in Hridaya, okay, so,
Rahim bids on it, but he's like trying to lowball it and see if like other people aren't going to bid, and is trying to get this as cheap as he can out of it. But yeah, he's bidding on that.
Yeah, and with no other players bidding on it, you are able to bid on this item and win this lot. So your bid's done, and Tulsi's bid is done. As the auction continues, the next item is the silver pot. And if nobody's speaking for that, we will continue. A brace.
Oh, I want it so bad.
Remember, okay, so for the sake of the audience, what I had told the players is that they have enough resources to basically win a bid if they are uncontested by any other player. However, you can bid on another item, but there is a risk reward mechanic to it. Essentially, you'll need to roll a die to see if you can outbid anybody else, and if you actually win the bid, you will have to give up something dear in your collection to pay for it. So that's how you end up getting 2 objects.
You know what? I'm gonna use my free bid on the pot.
Okay.
I think I am. Yep. I think maybe Jansali saw from like a distance how it was working, and the hubbub, and she's like, interesting. So you could reverse engineer. Fascinating. So she's gonna raise her little paddle. She's gonna bid on the pot.
Okay.
I think Tulsi also, like, whenever like they met up to like bid, so she's like, oh my god, I can't believe what just happened.
Yeah, Jansali's eyes immediately lit up, and she was like, fascinating. So she's gonna go for it. Yeah.
So no players bidding as well, like no other players bidding, right? Okay, yeah. So there is a fierce competition, but you are able to outbid everyone, and you claim the fine silver pot. All right, I believe there's only 1 free bid left on a player, Nibir. All right. So there's also a bracelet that occasionally glows with faint blue runes that gets auctioned. A smoking pipe gets auctioned. A decorative pocket watch gets auctioned. And then table 11 appears. A small box with a clear, shallow bowl that you had earlier had your eye on. Do you bid for this, Nibir?
Yes, this object would be my free bid.
All right. Is any other player wanting to bid for it? All right. There's some interest, but you also easily win this particular bid. As time has gone, people are running out of resources to bid on certain things, and there are others who are waiting for some of the later auctions. And this box with the bowl is yours. Then, now, out of the remaining auctions that are there, is there anything that any of you want to place a second bid on?
Yes. There are many. I don't know how many we're allowed to try to get, But Jansali, go ahead.
What I'm gonna say is that depending, you could try a third, but then it becomes one of those things where you're gonna have to essentially owe someone a very, very big favor, and you're not sure how they're gonna collect. Essentially, like, like
At some point in the future, the plot will become pay off this debt from episode 2.
yeah.
Got it. That's fine with me. I only care about right now. So Jansali is gonna go. I'm gonna bid. She's gonna raise her paddle on the book with unintelligible writing.
All right.
He's a nerd.
All right. So the bid comes for a book, and it says these seem to be notes from a student apprentice of the mage crafts. Unfortunately, there isn't much here that is intelligible. Bid starts at and gives a bid, and you put your paddle up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna have to pull my dice out and roll with you, unless any player is joining the bid as well.
Wait, do I want to bid on this one? Oh boy. Ooh, that sword looks kind of sexy though. So
The sword does look pretty great.
Yeah, and the smoking pipe. Oh my goodness. Those are the ones I'm attracted
The smoking
to.
pipe has already been bid on.
Has been spoken for. Okay.
Yes.
Then you know what? Let's go for the weird book. Yeah.
All
I'm gonna
right.
roll. Here we go.
Any other player joining in? If they're not, then it's just you and me bidding off.
All right. Here we go. 15.
We gotta roll again.
Did you also get a 15?
Yep.
Come on, my metal dice. You can do this. 2.
Unfortunately, you do not win this bid.
Okay.
What was this on again?
The book.
The book.
Yep. Oh, that's too bad.
I'm making notes, so I missed what it was.
Mm-hmm.
All
I'm also
right.
writing it down. Oh, that's too bad.
Next up is a small little whistle, and then a case of 12 magic potions.
Oh.
All right.
Oh boy.
A finely sewn dress with
Wait.
no. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Wait,
Yes.
Potions.
Potions. All right. You want a bid?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at Jansali and be like, "Is this a good bid?"
Jansali looks really depressed from not winning the book. So she's gonna look over at Tulsi. She's just gonna like give them a look that says, "Do it." Like,
All right, I'm doing it.
All right. Roll with me.
I got an 11.
All right. You won the bid.
Ah!
Now when the time comes, you will have to remove something from your inventory that is dear to you to pay for it.
Oh, dang. Right.
You can
I'm
you
gonna
can think on
about
that. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So the next thing is a finely sewn dress that has no pockets and in pristine condition, and the fashion looks to be about 100 years old. And then a small wooden box made with masterwork engravings. And then a sword in the scabbard that is chained securely. Alright, roll with me.
I got a 17.
You win the bid.
As he was placing the bid, Nibir actually stood up, and his whole posture changed. He, sort of puffed himself up to look bigger and more intimidating as he glared at the other bidder.
And they sort of are about to outbid you and sort of like, maybe I can't afford this, and just put their hands down. And then the last item on display is an old carpet bag that, despite its age, looks pristine. And with the end of that, this Nilami closes. And You all go to the tables to claim your prizes. So, in order, I believe table 2, the old leather pouch that is filled with seeds. You grab it, Tulsi. And
Babies.
and as well as Rahim, you collect your clay figures, and they're given to you in a crate to carry. And Jansali, you receive your fine silver pot. And Tulsi, you also receive the case of magic potions and the ruins of an alchemy set. And the sword is yours, Nibir, as well as the small box with the clear shallow bowl. Now, before we get into examining what all of these things are, what do you all do as you collect all the items?
Do you want to know what I got rid of?
Yes. Yes, so actually, Nibir and Tulsi, you have to tell me what you gave up to pay for your second item, and we'll start with Tulsi.
So they look at the potions, and then looks at their stuff, and then and they pull out this staff, but it's ornate and decorative, like it's been in the family for a while, and they're like, it's for a good cause, and they pass it over. So it's like a staff that has like engravings of like various animals, like from the jungles, and like floppy banana leaves and stuff, like all throughout it.
Mm-hmm. And they look at it, inspect it, and say, this will fetch us nice sum. Yes, I think this will do nicely. And just casually put it away, kind of just toss it behind.
Goodbye. And I take my potions and I shuffle away with my seeds and the potions, just like my arms are full.
Nibir, what do you give up to claim your second item?
Nibir pauses for a moment and kind of just reflects on the symbolism of this imprisoned sword, because it was just months ago where he felt like he was trapped in his life back at the farm. So in a way, this sword just sort of just called out to him when he had touched it briefly. And then Nibir is going to remove his gamosa, fold it up neatly, and offer it as an exchange. Now, the thing about the gamosa is that it's very family-oriented. Like, it's patterned after his family's... it's his own family's pattern, essentially. And it's made out of... really intricately woven silks, so it's not something you can find outside of Assam very well.
Yeah, and the person collecting payment looks at it, sort of raises an eyebrow, and looks at you, sort of stares at you just a little bit, looks back at it, doesn't say anything, and puts it away, and says, good doing business with you, and unchains, unhooks the sword, and hands it to you.
Nibir will pick up the sword and hang on to it. He's going to need to find a belt to buckle it to later.
As you hold it, it's vibrating very slightly, like a sort of like, it has the energy of a toddler, of like a very excited toddler, sort of like nervous, like, oh boy, 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 boy.
I can't believe it. Nibir just pats it and just whispers, relax.
You could almost feel it's saying, okay. Yeah, so the auction is done. And all of the belongings of this house have been sold off as all the patrons pick up their items. And this place is winding down.
Is there any opportunity for Jansali to try to sneak a peek at the sorcerer whose items are getting auctioned off through the bridge?
Yeah, definitely. As you might have even went there before the person bought it, and taken a look. What exactly are you hoping to ascertain?
Their age, as well as maybe like if they have any features that would mark them as like a non-human.
So they have the look of basically, not necessarily elven, but of that sort of feel of like this, it's not ethereal, it's not eternal, it's the thing when someone looks ageless and like unearthly beauty, like their best self, like almost a Dorian Gray sort of a thing. Of like, a very, like the sorcerers of the Witcher world and stuff, where they're like all their best Instagram selves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And usually mages like that are very good with illusion magic, and they could be anywhere from super young to several hundred years old.
Right. Does this person have a particular personality?
Timeless. Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Timeless.
Timeless.
Got it. Do they look like kind of mean, or like detached, or like
Cool and detached, but not necessarily mean.
okay?
Gorgeous. They look gorgeous.
Yeah, Jansali's a little stricken by how beautiful they are, and then she just sort of clears her throat and moves on with her low pot that she's a little disgusted by because it was kind of gross. She's a very dignified person, so she's having some buyer's remorse now, or she's like looking at this cool ass like sword. What? Like these like potions, you know, these like nice figurines. She looks down at her like burping pot and she's like, oh, okay.
It hasn't burped since then. It only burped when it spit the food out.
Yeah, she sort of mutters under her breath, I'm gonna call you Spittle. And she's gonna look for her companions.
Yeah, you find them all sort of, unless they are doing something else, you find them all near the entrance, shuffling away.
Rahim is out of disguise and is looking over his acquisition to see if he can find find the gem he's looking for.
Right there, right then?
Probably, yeah, pretty much. Just straight up, I've got the thing, get it onto a bench or something, find what I came here for.
Okay, so, do you have any abilities that allow you to examine things quickly or a lot more in detail and get more details than time would allow, of any kind?
The spy does not actually get any of those.
Okay.
I think any of those.
Okay, then what I will do is give me a check then to now that you own this and you can do whatever you want with this.
17.
17. All right, so now that you can look them up close and touch them and sort of move them, look them all over, turn them upside down and everything, nothing obviously catches your eye. However, you notice one thing. Out of all the clay figurines, one of them is incredibly pregnant. They're all women, and one is incredibly pregnant. Which is odd in everyone's matched except for one. One's pregnant.
Mm-hmm. And is there an obvious way to, get it open or
No,
with
you
that,
get the
or-
sense you may have to smashy to get at it. Whatever's inside,
We'll
unfortunately.
do that after we get out of here, and then we will be reselling a slightly smaller set of clay dancers. All right, after that, I will go meet up with the others at the entrance.
Cool. As soon as Jansali sees the others start to convene, she sort of lets out a sigh. She reaches into her bag, pulls out a silver flask, and swigs it. And then she puts it back into her belt. She goes, "So, what did you all score?"
Well, I'll have to see after I get back, but I want to have a little more time. But I believe I've found the target of my trip to the city.
That gem you were mentioning earlier.
Yes, that indeed.
As she sort of eyes what Rahim got, like the figures, she goes, "I don't see a gem in there."
I'll show you if I find it. I've got a hunch.
Okay.
I got seeds
Good for you, Tulsi.
and potions. So
I noticed.
Johnson, did you want the potions? Because I know you know medical stuff. So like.
Oh, you won that fair and square. I could never, but if you insist, I will.
I mean, if it's something that can help out with, I don't even know if we're a group, but if it can help out with anything.
I think it could, Tulsi, actually. If you don't mind, I would love to hold on to them for you.
Okay.
Oh, well, since you insisted. And Johnson's gonna take the potions and be like, "Oh, okay," and like put them away in her satchel.
Put them on your character sheet because I'm deleting off mine.
Yes, I have to put that down in my character sheet.
Once you discover what they are, I will give you their true names.
I am so scared to drink them, but I will.
What if Jansali put it in the pot?
Oh, that is so smart. Oh, she's
But then I'll just waste it. Wanted it like.
No, it just comes out slimy.
Oh no, that pot.
Yeah.
I was
You
thinking
know
the
how to
bowl.
make it. Exactly. I'm like, this pot is gonna unlock the mysteries of this campaign, y'all. I'm saying it right now. It is. Jansali looks at that cool sword, and she goes, no offense, but I didn't take you as a sword swinging. Sorry, what's your name?
It's Gojin.
Oh right, Gojin. Well, no offense, but I really didn't take you for the martial type.
I get that a lot.
Perhaps it's a good thing to be underestimated. Less people watch you. So, what are you all doing after this?
Well, I need to perform an emergency C-section, as it were. Not an actual emergency C-section.
I was gonna say.
Clearly not my domain.
Do we
But
need to go back to the medical clinic to do so?
We would, yes. And I would insist upon performing the emergency C-section.
What? You don't trust me? Yeah, that's very fair. But no, this is not a medical clinic sort of emergency C-section. This is a back to the hotel room and grab a hammer sort.
That is not. I do not recommend that.
It's not an actual C-section.
Okay.
Again.
I'm not sure what you mean, but I'm gonna trust you to assume that no poor person's gonna be harmed in this situation. Does your hotel have a bar?
I'm going to say yes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'm going to say yes.
Most places that are sort of guest, they're basically PG houses, which are paying guests, where essentially you live with a family and they rent out a room. There are hotels of various kinds, ranging from the seediest sort of motel to like an upper scale thing. So yeah, most of them would have some place for food and drink.
Sure.
The quality is questionable from place to place.
Sure. Jansali takes another swig of her silver flask, nods at Tulsi and Gojin. Is that the name Nibir's going by? Says, "Well,
I'll lead the way. Rahim will lead the way to the hotel. Kind of introduce everyone to the bar, giving another fake name to the bartender, which is the one he got the room under, and head upstairs to open up this pregnant statue and see if he's got his gem.
Cool." Yeah, Jansali's gonna stay at the bar with telling Rahim, or rather one of Rahim's aliases, to come down and meet her whenever he's done doing what he needs to do to those figurines. And she's gonna order herself a whiskey neat.
All right.
I think Tulsi's gonna stand there and just look and be like, "Do I go? Do I stay? Do you need help?" And she's gonna yell after Rocky. No, okay. And they're just gonna go into the bar and just like, I guess that's with Jansali at the bar because they don't know where else to go.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. Johnson sort of waves Tulsi over.
So Rahim, what sort of an establishment in terms of reputation and lifestyle are you staying at?
Somewhere like well-to-do enough that he doesn't expect too much trouble from other patrons, but somewhere low enough down that when he causes trouble for other patrons, they're not likely to mind too much.
Okay.
So kind of lower middle. We don't care that much if patrons are yelling at each other as long as nothing serious breaks out, but we're going to make sure there isn't like a giant robbery or a fight in the room.
Okay, so it's somewhere closer to the Chandi Chowk, which is one of the 3 major markets in this town. Then at this point it is evening. The nightlife has started to come to life. There is many food hawkers on the streets, as well as entertainment available of various kinds. It's starting to liven up. Gojin, what are you up to?
Gojin's at the bar, but he's been kind of quiet. He's not drinking, though. He just asked for hot water to make his tea.
You get the nastiest glare from the wait staff, and they say, we do make tea here.
Fair. But I like my tea better.
You tell him, Gojin.
Sort of, there's a very pursed lips look and just saunters off. Rahim, you are in your room. What do you do?
I'm breaking open the pregnant statue to see what's inside and whether or not I need to arrange a robbery on whoever got number 1.
Roll me give me a roll.
Okay.
To see how cleanly you...
Dice are hot today, 19.
Nice. Okay, yeah. So you manage to find a perfect sort of clean break, and it kind of splits in 2 very neatly. And inside you find, rather than a jewel that you were expecting, there is a jewel, but it is attached to an obsidian ring that is pulsating a little bit. It seems like it wants to almost there's a little bit of transparency as it's trying to blink out of existence, but the ring glows a little and it stops trying to pulsate out of existence. It's almost as if this jewel that is clasped to it like a ring, one of those ridiculously showboaty engagement rings sort of a thing. This diamond is what's making this ring stay in this plane of existence.
And this isn't the one I'm looking for? This is a different thing?
This is, you think this is
okay.
this is what you're looking for, but you're surprised that certain details were left out of it. You weren't expecting a ring. You were expecting a jewel.
All right. Well, technically mission accomplished. And they didn't say I can't wear it until I return it. So, ring goes on finger, and I'm going to head downstairs.
Okay, so before you do that, when you put the ring on, it clasps onto you, and you get the sense you're not going to be able to take it off your hand.
I have made a mistake. Rahim just looks at his claw and says that. Nice and slowly.
Yeah. It's not uncomfortable. Like, you're not gonna lose any, you're not gonna lose, what's the thing when a ring's too tight? You're not gonna lose any circulation. But you're pretty sure that you are not going to be able to take it off, and or you might lose a body part in trying to take it off.
Yeah, that would suck. We definitely do not want that. Hey, Jansali, doctors can reattach limbs, right?
So now you're walking around with essentially the biggest engagement rock in history.
Which finger did you put it on? Which
ring finger. That's what I put it on.
Is Rahim at the bar now? Asking
Rahim just kind of comes down, slides in, is acting casually, orders a pretty large lassi, and accepts it next to Jansali. So, good news and bad news.
Yes.
Shows off his hand.
Oh, congratulations!
I found the ring. Bad news. Magic ring.
Why is that bad news? Magic rings are awesome.
Not when you can't get them off your finger and you are contractually obligated to return it to the current owners. Or to the legal owners.
Have you tried pulling it off?
Kind of grips on.
You can feel skin and like just even trying to wiggle it a little. Take 2 damage.
Okay. Yeah, that's very bad.
Oh my goodness, we only have 10 hit points. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I suggested that.
No, that's okay.
Jansali sees the color flush out of your face and go, oh, whoa. Are you okay?
I can do that again.
I'm not. It's very hard to lose color in my face. I'm a lizard. Do you know how hard it is to do that to scales?
Wait, look, calm down, okay? This is going to be fine. I'm sure there's a way to get it off. 2 Cosmos, please. Listen. And she's gonna sort of lean in and say, do you mind if I examine it?
By all means.
Okay. Jansali's gonna sort of pick it up, and she is going to try to diagnose Rahim to see if the ring has cursed him in any way, or it has afflicted him with a disease.
So
this is what this is.
Diagnose.
It's the guessing game again. I'm so sorry. This took like a million years last time.
I'm gonna tell you that you don't need to do the guessing game for it. I'm gonna say that just roll.
Great. Nat 20, baby.
You're on fire. 20. Okay, so good news, no curse. Bad news, and good news. Good news, no curse. It's actually a really powerful artifact. Bad news. It is permanently attached to the bearer and can only be released if they are destroyed.
Like the bearer is destroyed?
Yeah.
Okay, Jansali sort of is like touching the ring. She like closes her eyes to center herself, right? And then like this information jabs her like a lightning bolt, and she actually reels backward a little and knocks back one of the Cosmos that she ordered. But she doesn't even notice about the spilt drink. She sort of looks at Rahim and says, so some good news and some bad news.
I love this game.
Yes. Good news, the ring is extremely powerful. It is indisputably powerful magical object that probably a lot of people would vie for. You're not cursed. That's also part of the good news. The bad news is it can't be removed unless you are destroyed. I can't even cut it off. I don't know if the ring would allow me.
That is good to know. If you'll excuse me, I need to step outside and scream. He kind of steps outside, and there's this loud, low, crocodilian bellow. Then he steps back inside. Thank you very much, Jansali. I greatly appreciate that. Especially considering, yeah, magic artifacts, we're not in the contract. So I think I'm going to have to do some supplementary research and perhaps send a letter to my employer on the matter. This is a little out of scope, as it were, as there is now an extremely obvious, very pretty ring on my hand that a lot of people are presumably willing to hire private investigators over.
Jansali hands the other Cosmo over to Rahim and says, look, I don't mean to be offensive. Tulsi, back me up here. I don't.
No.
Thank you. But you don't seem to be the most reputable person, which makes me think that your employers are not either. Would they be willing to, as she leans in, kill you to get that?
So I'm more reputable when it comes to investigating things than when it comes to every single other part of my life that does not directly involve my job. But I genuinely don't know, as there was clearly a lot they were leaving off, and they viewed the ring as very important to their personal, the succession of their house, which, yes, they would probably be willing to kill me.
Yes, that sounds
succession
like
kind
it.
of does that.
So a little information about this house. They are a trading house and a manufacturing house that are able to produce a large quantity of items through magic means, perhaps, and are able to get quality wares.
I see. Jansali just sort of glances over at Tulsi and Nibir, and she goes, drinks for everyone?
Yes.
Yes. Bartender, another round for all four of us, please. And strong.
And just hands the very burst server who has the displeasure of serving all of you. Nibir, at some point you get a pot of water. The water perhaps is of questionable source.
Wait, put it in the poison bowl.
Oh no, it's water. It's clear.
Oh,
Just maybe not the best filtered water. Maybe not boiled.
It wasn't even heated?
No, it's you know how it is when you're not sure of the quality of the water, you boil it to take out any impurities and anything of that sort. It's hot. Yeah. Hot enough to flavor your tea leaves. Whether it was boiled is questionable.
Is it possible at all to use one of my abilities for this ring specifically, this ability is part of my examination path, and it's called Curious Case. It will cost me 3 adventure points.
What
And
does
says
it do?
if your scene contains something overtly suspicious, the examples they give are like a dead body or blood on the walls. I'm going to say a cursed ring, maybe. You may investigate by considering things that seem familiar to you. You must pontificate about your past experience at the table to explain what is familiar to you. Choose 3 details you already know about your scene. If you need more detail, ask the guide what you sense. You can then begin your short speech by saying something like, "This reminds me of the curious case of blah, blah, blah."
Yeah. You can totally use it in this case, because you probably, part of some of your doctoring may have involved dealing with curses or the side effects of magic and artifacts and stuff like that.
So the 3 details I already know about the scene is the fact that there's some sort of cursed object, the fact that there is a innocent bystander in this, which is Rahim, I'm assuming. Maybe not completely innocent, but the ring was not meant for you. And the 3rd detail is the fact that, I don't know, you can't take it off or you'll die. Unless you die. Those are the 3 details I'm going to fixate upon.
I will tell you is that if a client is looking for a ring like this, and if Rahim wants to share who the client is,
Rahim will at this point share who the client is, because he has been thoroughly screwed.
Okay, then I will tell you.
Due to his own actions. But, you know.
Then I will tell you. Then I will tell you exactly what this object is.
Yes, please.
Once Rahim tells you how the family makes their fortune and what they're known for, you realize this object is a lot like one of the objects, like almost legendary objects you had read about, called a cosmic forge. It is a ring where you may snap your fingers to conjure any object into existence nearby, except for a copy of itself. However, there is a cost to it. Usually, and essentially mechanics-wise, you have to roll the die. More often than not, you conjure it perfectly fine. Sometimes, however, if the fates are not kind to you, you can crumble to dust and get destroyed. But that is very rare.
Like a nat 1 on the D20.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. So
anytime I use this, I have a 1 in 20 chance of dying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so this is Jansali doesn't reveal all that at once. She knows this, right? But Rahim doesn't. Okay, so Jansali is still while they're drinking and talking, everyone's conversing. Jansali's gonna lean in.
I wasn't expecting you to wear it.
And Jansali's gonna say, this reminds me of the time I had this patient who came in with what's it called, a tiara, a headband, iron headband that she was playing with. She put on, but she couldn't take off. And every time she tried to take it off, it got tighter and tighter around her skull until she was bleeding from it. And if it got any tighter, she would have died. It was a cursed object, and we discovered that the only way to get it off was to produce a sacrifice of a slain animal. We sacrificed a chicken to get that metal band off. It craved blood. So this ring, thank you for telling me all that stuff about your client, about your employer. This ring is similar. It demands sacrifice in a certain situation, but it also grants you immense power. Why don't you try thinking of an object you want to be here near you and snap your fingers?
Rahim snaps his fingers, and summons. Let's see. What would he want right now? I think he just summons another, like, a tall thing of lassi, like mango lassi or something. Just comfort food. Snaps fingers. Roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
Natural 20.
So you conjure that glass of lassi. It is perfect in every way.
Nice.
It just appears?
Yeah, it is. It's almost like crystalline rather than glass. You can feel like the cream and the buttermilk, sort of like it's like from a cow that has been in a luscious field of green grass and has been pampered every step of its life, and everything has been lovingly placed.
So take one sip. This is great. Oh, I should do this more often.
What did you say?
What did you say? Like, there's a cost or consequence or something? Is that just the you can't take it off thing, or is there another part to that? Another drink?
Can I, dearest guide, I kind of want to bring up Jansali's flaw in this situation.
Sure.
Which is that she pursues knowledge at all costs, and she thinks that if she tells Rahim, she won't be able to study him anymore because he won't use the ring.
Okay, so what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to not, is there, like, I don't know, like, I feel like, I guess it's more of a roleplay choice. Me as a player, I don't want to screw over my other players, right?
I think that is a conversation that if Rahim consents to it, go for it.
I am down.
Hell yeah.
Go for it.
But I think to sort of offset it so you're not completely ignorant, Jansali is gonna scribble this down in a notebook. She's gonna say, "What downside? Oh, nothing. It's just I was mostly just metaphoricizing." She's gonna scribble down the notes about how this works, and quickly tuck it back into her pocket.
All right.
So, but I would be careful. I wouldn't use it too often. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. You know, use it in a pinch.
Yes, a lot of people are going to be trying to kill me over this. But as far as, like, an emergency resource thing, or, like, really a get out of jail, potentially free tool, this is pretty nice. Like, maybe worth being hounded for however long. Another long drink.
she's gonna drink as well.
You mean for the rest of your natural life?
Hey, 60 years, like, sure, people try to kill you for 60 years, but they're gonna be stinking rich for all of it, and I'm in disguise half the time anyways.
So
That's
you
true.
kind of know how this family makes its fortune now.
Yep.
Right, the ring. I wonder who had to die. God.
Oh god, yeah, that probably just gets... People probably die a lot if there's a 5% chance each time.
Totally, like every time.
Mass-producing stuff.
Yeah.
Unless they're doing, like, a warehouse full of stuff with each snap.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's probably what they do. Yeah, you want to just do one object at a time because the chances of you dying are, so Jansali's going to carefully monitor a little bit of guilt creeping in, right? But her thirst for knowledge is outweighing that. She's so curious. And because of this, she wants to stick by Rahim. She's like, she thinks that this can be the key in her quest, in her personal quest.
So, does anyone else want to spend some time in the bar in somewhat semi-public circumstances, examine anything they have?
Well, no. Nibir is far more cautious than...
I think Tulsi's gonna look at the potions like, do you want to look at those now, or do you want to look at those later?
The potions?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, let's take a look at them now. Tulsi might notice that Jansali's eyes still sort of stay on Rahim and, like, the ring, even as she's talking to Tulsi. Okay, I forgot that you gave them to me. She pulls out one of the potions, and she also pulls out the little silver pot that she got. what does she call it?
Spittle.
Spittle. Yeah, spittle. She like tentatively places spittle down and says, "Do you mind having your sword at the ready just in case something happens?"
Nibir shakes his head. No, I'm not going to use a sword.
You know what? That's fair. We are in a bar right now. She's gonna uncork the bottle of the potion, look at Tulsi, and then pour that sucker in.
All right, roll me a d20, please.
Oh boy, that is a nat 1.
So your maximum HP is reduced by 2 until the restore spell is cast on you.
Wait, can't. Okay.
So your maximum HP for the time being is an 8.
Oh,
Got it.
no, I think Mariam. Jansali didn't drink it. She poured it into the pot.
Oh!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
No, that's one of the effects.
Wait, pause real quick. The broadcast ended. Hold on. Oh,
Wait, what?
What?
at least, hold on. Maybe I got kicked out.
Oh, it
I
looks,
can. I'm still
looks
seeing
fine.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Maybe it was just me. Sorry.
Okay, because I don't see anything. All right. So you pour the contents in, or you pour the bottle and contents in?
I don't put the bottle in, but I do
Okay.
put whatever's in it in.
Okay. All right.
Quickly slam the lid and push it far away.
All right. So, 1 second.
Oh shoot! Should I have put the glass in as well? Because it's gonna throw it up again.
It might do the process for the glass, so like.
So nothing happens.
Huh. Interesting. It just sort of stays in there like a normal,
Yeah, like you
like a normal
expect
pot?
you expect that sort of like gurgling sound and devouring. A minute passes, no sound. 2 minutes pass, no sound. 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Huh. That's odd. Maybe it only works on. Oh, does it only work on food? Oh, God. Okay. Jansali takes the pot back and she carefully like pours it back into the potion.
Yeah,
bottle.
the contents look like they were undisturbed. Nothing happened. You can pour it back into the bottle.
Got it. She recorks it. Looks a little disappointed.
I will tell you that only the contents of those vials don't work
Oh,
because they have unexpected effects.
got it. Oh, that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah. Cool. Very cool. Jansali is going to glance at Tulsi, glance at her other companions, and say, "What does anyone want to try? Try this?"
I put in the perfect glass of mango lassi.
Okay. You hear the sound of like ethereal chomping and chewing and devouring, and after a couple of moments, and there's like little black ooze kind of sometimes keep coming out of the pot, and then there's like this sort of almost vortex flush sound that you hear, and then you hear a gigantic burp, and then the glass comes spewing out and thonks against you. And it's like slime dripping. And now the process for making the perfect glass is etched on the side, and it involves a comicized version of Rahim with a ring thinking and snapping, and another
fascinating.
glass showing, and it going into the pot.
That's awesome.
It shows you the exact recipe and ingredients needed to make that object.
The ring
Yeah.
plus Rahid plus snapping set fingers. And then like a thought bubble of like mango latte.
Jansali goes, "Oh, spittle. You old dog. She's gotta close the lid. And she is going to look at Rahim with more guilt creeping onto her face.
Well, I was hoping that would be a little more usable, but I'll take it. So who wants to finish off the half of a slobber-covered mango lassi? By all means, Tulsi.
I'm not letting it go to waste.
You know when something is like thrown into a volcano and then pulled out and there's ash all over it? Imagine that, but in liquid form.
Ugh.
In addition to the perfect mango lassi.
Yikes.
You just gotta drink around it. It's okay. Just swish it around and just swallow it.
So Rahim's going to wait until after Tulsi finishes and then offer them like a towel or a napkin or something to wipe off as much of the grime as they can. And just say, next time you might want to do this before you finish it.
Okay.
I didn't realize there's...
So as we are getting close to end of game today, I'm going to say this is the end of sort of an initial happening, which was all of you meeting this entire auction house. And I am going to award you some adventure points for getting this far. So you all get 5 adventure points, as well as Rahim for doing a very, very reckless thing. I am going to give you an additional 2.
All right.
So if we haven't used any, that just moves us up to 15, is that right?
Yeah, you,
I didn't know
they
if
don't
accumulated or just
regenerate,
went
yeah,
away.
no, they accumulate, they don't regenerate, so once you use
Okay.
them, you use them until I award points or stuff like that. And we will go a little, unstructured in terms of if you want to investigate your items, I can tell you what they are.
Sure, if there's anything about the other clay jars, that would be great.
They're a good bartering tool, because they're of good craftsmanship and everything. So they are a good bartering chip. So they are definitely have some value. So who would like to examine their objects? All right.
Nibir will do it, but he'll only do it in his room.
Okay.
When he's alone.
Sure.
He will draw the sword.
As you draw the sword, you hear, "Here we go again! Yes, I'm alive!"
Well, this was certainly unexpected.
And there's no person in this room. And it sounds like it's coming from the sword, but there's no mouth or lip or any place.
Nibir,
Hey boss, we ready to go? We ready to go? We ready to bite? We're ready to bite into some flesh and do some cool things? Yeah.
Well, no, this room is empty. It's just me here.
Aw, you're no fun. And it actually drops from your hand and starts slinking to the door.
Where do you think you're going?
Someone who's willing to put him up.
Okay, but even the most aggressive person in the world is not going to fight thin air.
And starts harmlessly thunking against the door like a puppy who wants to be let out.
You stop that right now, or you're going back into the scabbard.
And after a couple of, like, rebellious thunks, stops.
Nibir is just going to pick up the sword and give it a quick couple of practice swings just to get a feel for the weight.
It is perfect balance, perfect weight. You think, were you to actually be in a fight, you could do some serious damage with the sword.
Huh. He's going to quietly slip the sword back into its scabbard and secure it.
And you almost hear like a muffled fur.
Yeah. I hate to break it to you, but your owner is pretty much a pacifist and doesn't like to fight unless it's the last resort.
The scabbard is now slowly shifting towards the door now. You get the feeling why it was chained and bolted down quite a bit.
Yeah.
You have the eager edge.
The eager edge, okay.
And should you do damage, you do 3 damage instead.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah. You have an interesting sword.
You know what's really funny is that I purposely went with the quarterstaff because I wanted a weapon that wouldn't cause too much damage. So this is going to be interesting.
Yep.
You got the sword that loves murder.
Yeah, so does anyone else want to spend some time examining their goodies?
I want to check out my seeds. I think I'll do that like at night. I don't know if Tulsi actually got a hotel room because I don't know if they know exactly about renting hotel rooms. So I think they're probably just staying like underneath some trees outside of town or like, in a park somewhere.
Well, Jansali would never allow that. She would definitely let Tulsi like crash in her house.
Oh.
Yeah,
nice.
100%.
Okay, well, I guess that night, I guess
And Jansali, where do you think you stay in the city?
Oh, she's a healer. I'm not sure what kinds of like housing situations are available.
Well, I'd say that you were also, as part of your mentors, kind of like, okay, I want to take care of you. Your new job also came with a place near to the healing center.
Oh, okay, sure.
In fact, it might actually be above it.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe like there's apartments above it that like all the healers stay in or something.
So as you pass by, and we'll deal with it in the next episode, the door is ajar.
Uh-huh. Is the place ransacked?
No, but that new shipment of stuff that were purchased to replace the previous week's healing with the septuplet toddlers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's sand now. Sorry. Sand's a bad word. That's basically just like it's completely it's in shatters as if someone threw a ball into it.
Wow. So specifically the medical equipment.
Yeah.
Okay. I can say the reason why Jansali doesn't stop, and because she's gonna want to investigate this, obviously, is maybe she knows like a back route to get into the apartments from behind, so she doesn't see this when she gets home.
Yeah.
But maybe she'll see it in the morning or
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So she brings Tulsi up, and she's like, I know a faster way to get up to my apartments. There's no reason to look at the front. She's gonna go up into her like apartment, and she's gonna show Tulsi the couch. But she's gonna say it like I'd offer my bed, of course. Would you like to sleep in my bed? I could take the couch.
That's fine, thank you. I'm actually probably gonna sleep on the floor, honestly.
Oh no, you should. I please. My bed. If not the bed, the
No,
couch. I
I
insist.
mean, I'm just used to sleeping on.
Oh, are you sure?
surfaces.
The
Yeah.
floor. I mean, my couch is nice. You know, it is nice leather. So I wouldn't want you to scuff it up.
I'll give it a shot tonight.
Oh, okay. So the floor's too hard. I understand. I would never make you sleep on the floor. So let me put something down on the couch, and she's gonna disappear for a little bit. So if you wanted to examine the seats
Yeah,
alone,
I think on the coffee table she's gonna like open up the pouch and just sort of take a couple seats out, not like the whole group, and just be like, hey, y'all there? Hello.
And as you stick your eyeball in, you notice on the inside of the bag there is writing in in Hridaya, a language you know, that actually tells the history of this pouch.
Whoa. I think Tulsi's gonna just trying to angle the light in a certain way. Actually, no. What she's gonna do is it dark? Is she able to read it, or
yeah, you can read it. It's
okay.
there's some illumination in the house, I imagine, unless you keep it darkly lit.
I just meant like with the angles of the bag, like shadows.
Yeah, you can read it.
All right, cool.
And it says that this belonged to an ancient ranger who made friends with the trees, and they were loyal companions, and their children are in here, and whoever inherits this inherits their friends. Essentially, you think when you plant these seeds, they will grow into a tree creature who will be a companion for life. You're not sure how long it'll take, but you think with magic it might be faster than expected.
I can make myself friends.
like sea monkeys, but nature for
Nature,
you.
yes.
Very cool.
I think by the time you come back, Tulsi tells you all this, and he's like, look. Apparently these are eggs, or... No, they're not eggs, they're seeds, obviously.
Eggs.
But, like, they're like, you can, like, plant them, and you can make plant friends.
So, sentient plants will grow from these seeds?
And she rereads it. She's like, yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you know how fast it will take them? She's, like, laying out, like, a blanket on, like, the couch.
No, but we can always try and see.
Huh. That seems like a great idea. It's so fascinating. At this auction, so many strangely powerful magical artifacts are being auctioned off. I wonder what we missed. I wonder. And she puts down a few pillows and says, "The couch is ready.
Oh, thank you.
But just please don't toss and turn too much. This leather is a bespoke couch, so I need you to be careful, okay?"
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
For the
thank
couch.
you. Of course. I'm gonna go freshen up in the bathroom now.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You as well. Good night. She's gonna take a swig of her flask and disappear into the restroom.
And then Tulsi just sort of plops down on the couch and is like, I'm gonna keep it out tonight so we can be better friends. It just like has the seeds just sort of like strung out across the table.
All 16 of them. There are 16
lined
in
up.
total.
All lined up.
All right, I think that is a good place to end it for tonight. Let's go once again around the table and tell us who you are and where we can find you on the internets. Let's start with hi, Basheer.
Okay, hey, I'm Basheer Gauss, he, him. You can find me at Basheer Gauss on Twitter, and and at havocfet.itch.io if you want to look into my games.
All right. And Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. Let's see, my next stream will be on Friday over on the Wandering DM channel. It's going to be the next installment of Cyberpunk Red, where I play a rocker boy by way of professional wrestling. So tune in for that before our break, because next 2 weeks we're going to be off due to Gen Con and other things. So.
Next is Connie.
Hey everyone, I'm Connie, my pronouns are they, he, and she. Obviously, I play Jansali. You can find me on Twitter at @byConnieChong. I am also the GM and executive producer of Transplanar RPG, on Twitter at Transplanar RPG. Our next tabletop live stream is this Saturday at 3 p.m., July 25th. We are an all-trans, POC-led, 100% homebrew tabletop campaign set in a non-colonial, anti-Orientalist world, so you should check us out.
Awesome. And last but not least, Morgan.
I got the hiccups again. Hold on. Okay, I'm good. All right. Hi, I'm Morgan. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her interchangeably. You can find me on the socials at Serena Bezos. I do mainly podcasting. This is one of my good streams. Another stream I'm actually a part of is with Actual Play that Sean Nittner runs on his channel, which is called Actual Play on Twitch. I'm playing right now in Balikbayan every other Sunday, which is actually this Sunday, this upcoming Sunday at doing the math, 9:30 EDT. Yes, 9:30 EDT, because 6:30 PST. So, numbers, math, time zones. Anywho, come watch us play Balikbayan, which is a Powered by Apocalypse slash, I think the BOB also game, where we are in a cyberpunk reality that's sort of Philippines post-colonial. It's super exciting, super cool. You can find me on my podcast on Powered by the Players. We are currently releasing our Bluebeard's Bride one-shot playthrough, and we have more lined up along the way. So, yeah, be my friend.
And I am Mariam, your guide for this show. You can find me on Twitter at media_junkie. You can also find me here, usually doing stuff either on screen or behind the scenes. I am also the GM and creator of the Musafirs, and I'm also the new cast member of Prison Pals. And with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the subs. Thank you for the bits and cheers. And thank you for the hosts and raids. Speaking of which, we will be raiding, considering that disaster children were a tag throughout the evening, hashtag, we will be raiding some unnatural disasters, and raid all nerds here. I hope I got the correct thing. So let's give us some love with our new emotes that we have with Voidcat High and our Huetopia Love. Alright, so I'm gonna start that raid. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back in another 2 weeks. And next week we're gonna have a Game Roulette Exceptionals with Sahoni, who we interviewed last week, and we're gonna do a rerun of that show this week, just to give us a little breathing room for Gen Con coming up. You'll find all those details on our Twitter and all our social media. Alright, let's go raid!